Hello, it's 12 hours GMT. This is the Midday News. This bulletin is live on Joy99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. On Facebook, we're streaming live and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Laura FM in Laura, A1 Radio in Bogatanga, Sky FM in Sunyani, and Victory FM Aplau. Go digital on Spotify and the MindJoy online app. And coming up,
Ghana is broke. Your nation is radically broke. So broke, the Speaker of Parliament has publicly warned that we may not be able to pay the salaries of public sector workers.
Support the e-levy or the economy collapses on all of us. The warning of law professor Raymond Atuguba as he charges government to also be reasonable.
If we do not support the e-levy, government will simply tax something else, such as fuel, leading to a hike in petrol fares. And they will additionally steal for central government.
Already, labor unions have boycotted the ongoing labor conference, signaling an escalation of agitations on the labor front.
Labor agitation is a reflection of the weak pocket of the worker. So whenever you see that there is an upsurge in labor agitation, it's an indication that the financial fortunes of the worker is down.
Meanwhile, experts are predicting further increases in fuel prices later today.
If they decide to hike it for revenue purposes, then of course we're going to see an escalation in price beyond the forex exposure and the commercial price exposure.
The NDC is demanding government uses proceeds from the stabilization fund to cushion Ghanaians.
Since the introduction of the price stabilization levy in 2015, the NPA had accrued to itself over 1.25 billion Ghana cedis. The question is, what did we use that money for?
Also in this package,
this one I was even contemplating whether I should mix some of the lectures because I can't go through all the week.
I now have to cut down on my salon visits and buying of clothes as well as shoes and channel all those expenses into my transportation.
What you heard is how people are desperately managing their finances because of the hikes in transport fares. Stay tuned for the stories of people at La Paz in today's edition of the Living Standard series. And as we begin our series on Ghana Month, we'll tell you about the Ahanta language, a language on the brink of extinction, and what Wankwa is doing to stop that.
We were not taught Ahanta when we were kids. We can't preach, but through the music that we sing, we can sell our language far.
This week, we begin our Ghana Month series and we'll bring you stories themed around lesser-known languages in Ghana. Coming up in sports.
Why always House of Oak and Asante Kotoko for Ghana's annual President Cup? We hear from Garka Sherman Kojo in 20 minutes.
We have details of these stories and more in this half-hour package. Thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Hello again, I'm Ernest. Manu. Let's settle for the details now. Dean of the University of Ghana's Law Faculty, Professor Raymond Atuguba, is rallying Ghanaians to accept the e-levy, no matter how distasteful it may be. His warning comes as government admits there will soon be a difficulty paying salaries of public sector workers if something urgent is not done to address the worsening economic situation in the country. He's however asking government to be reasonable with the proposal. He spoke last night at a public lecture on the review of the 1992 Constitution and its impact on the economy of Ghana. He starts by laying the grounds for his suggestion. Listen.
My friend's PhD thesis was on the topic, quote, why certain coups succeed and why others fail. His case study was Ghana. My current assessment that Ghana may be ripe for a coup partly springs from the knowledge I gained from accompanying my friend through part of his doctoral research on this topic. It does not help matters if we consider Samuel Huntington's thesis on the snowballing effect of coups in the sub-region and the closeness of recent coups to whom. I urge my good friend, the Minister of National Security, Honorable Kandapa, to have a conversation with my friend at the War College. A big part of why certain coups succeed and others fail is the economy. What is the state of Ghana's economy today? At the level of the most irreducible idiomaticity, Ghana is broke. Your nation is radically broke. So broke, the Speaker of Parliament has publicly warned, gavel in hand, that we may not be able to pay the salaries of public sector workers in some 3 months.
Well, that is Law Professor Raymond Atukuba. He then makes a rallying call to Ghanaians to support the controversial e-levy.
The starting point for successfully passing the e-levy bill is for government to stop lying to us, the citizenry. Come clean. Confess that you had thought the job of managing the economy was simple. We Ghanaians are smart and empathetic and will gladly support the e-levy if this is done right. Fellow Ghanaians, if we do not support the e-levy, government will simply tax something else, such as fuel. They're already doing it, leading to a hike in trotro fares. And they will additionally steal for central government from the District Assembly's Common Fund, the GET Fund, the National Health Insurance Levy, the Road Fund. They are already doing it.
Now, this afternoon, 4 teacher unions say there's no need participating in a national labor conference aimed at addressing the growing agitations among public sector workers. They say the economic situation is getting out of hand, and that must be government's priority instead of holding what they describe as an academic exercise. NAGAD President Angel Kabonu spoke on behalf of the unions in the following interview with my colleague Samuel Imbura.
The platform was supposed to go and review the economic situation in Ghana and see how labor was going to contribute in uplifting the economy. That is a total, I see that more or less like an academic work than work to increase the emolument of work. Our conditions of service have not improved because every day we are dwindling in the real value of our incomes. Most prices in this country are calculated or indexed in the dollar. As you and I speak, the CD dollar exchange is around 7.5. Last year, around this time, it was around 5.8. So there is about a 27% reduction in the value of our currency. If you have taken a mortgage, then it tells you where you are. Just on Saturday, the prices of transportation fares were increased by 15%. And those who drive their private cars, the price of fuel is almost 8 cedis. So it tells you that whatever you had a year ago is falling flat. Labor agitation is a reflection of the weak pocket of the worker. So whenever you see that there is an upsurge in labor agitation, it's an indication that the financial fortunes of the worker is down. That is what it is. Right. And if leadership fails to take the commanding lead, you will see members themselves take actions that will go out of hand.
He's also been speaking about the delay in the payment of public sector workers.
I don't remember in my working life that a situation like this has occurred before, and I am very surprised by it. Yes, not only surprised, but also disappointed.
All right, so there are projections that the next 3 months public sector workers may not be paid. E-levy matters arising. Your official stance on that as teacher unions?
Well, as teacher unions, anything that will come in to make the worker worse off is not acceptable. Anything that will come to take money out of the worker's pocket is not acceptable. That is the situation.
That is Angel Kabonu, he is president of NAGAT. Now, the oil marketing companies would by close of day increase petrol and diesel by 3 and 4% in response to the rising cost of the commodity on the world market. Brent crude is currently selling at $103 per barrel, the highest in the last 7 years. And in line with the deregulation policy, the OMCs are expected to adjust the prices. John News is learning that petrol could witness a 4.6% increase, moving a litre to 8 cedis 12 pesos, while diesel will sell at 8 cedis 25 pesos. The weakening cedi against the dollar, global demand, and the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine have been blamed for the rise. The Institute of Energy Security wants government to consider some of the taxes on petroleum products. Nana Mwesi is the executive director.
One thing that can also change the dynamics is the levies and taxes on this fuel. If government reduce the taxes or the levies on the price build-up, it will change the direction of fuel in favor of consumers. If they decide to hike it for revenue purposes, then of course we're going to see an escalation in price beyond the forex exposure and the financial price exposure. So beyond the geopolitics, there are other indicators, including freight and logistics costs, that will also see price of international price go up. And note one thing: demand is still surging, and production, has been hampered because of low investment across the globe.
The NDC Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suhini, wants government to act and reduce the hardship on Ghanaians.
Price stabilization levy. Why was it introduced? It was introduced so that consumers could enjoy a certain cushion or support when prices on the international market get out of hand. And this was as a result of our experience when the prices went to over 100, when we did not expect it. So when the prices started coming down, a proactive government, a reasonable government, thought that, look, let's take advantage of the windfall so that when it goes up, like it is going now, when you didn't predict it, you will have a certain buffer so that the people will not have to endure the effect of the deregulation of passing it on. According to ASEP, last year, since the introduction of the price stabilization levy in 2015, the MPA had accrued to itself over 1.25 billion Ghana cedis. The question is, what did we use that money for?
But his colleague MP for Inshaso in the Ashanti region, Dr. Stephen Amoah, wants a depoliticization on the conversation of fuel prices.
If MPP NDC can be honest, because the two of us have caused this. When NDC is in government, we will pay gallons. Hey, when MPP is in government, they will pay gallons. If MPP and NDC can define a new point of convergence, and there are certain selected items in our society, we agree and be honest, the two of us all should be blamed. I'm sure a time may come, ordinary man or the Ghanaian, whatever, will no longer blame NDC or MPP. But when we are in government, they are blaming us. When they were in government, we're blaming them. That politics of conspiracy, that politics of deception and lies, blame game. If MPP and DC, we don't sincerely stop, this country will be thrown into jeopardy.
That is Dr. Stephen Amoah. He is MP for Inshaso in the Ashanti region. Relocating to newly developing sites where rent is cheap, cutting down on classes, limiting visits to the hair salon are some actions that some Ghanaians have adapted to cushion themselves against the rising cost of transportation. In today's episode of the Living Standard series, Mambiesi spent a day in Chotros and reports Ghanaians are feeling the pinch.
When fuel prices go up, everything else goes up. The daily commute from home to offices, schools, and various destinations are now becoming expensive for many people. Efua Boedua lives in Kaswa. She waits for several minutes at the La Paz bus stop, eagerly waiting to hop into another vehicle to Achimota. Before Saturday, 25th February, she paid 5 cedis from Kaswa to La Paz. But now, she has to pay more.
Initially, I used to spend 100 cedis a week on transportation, but now it has increased by 50 cedis. However, my salary remains the same.
Although she has not fully planned what to cut out from her budget, Efua off the cuff said she would visit the salon less often.
I now have to cut down on my salon visits and buying of clothes as well as shoes, and channel all those expenses into my transportation.
She's not the only one who has been caught up in this economic squeeze. Vincent is a student at the University of Ghana. He has also been stuck at the La Paz junction for a while now. As a day student who lives beyond Soltium, he is contemplating cutting down on the number of times he attends classes due to the increase in fares.
Seriously, right now I do have lectures that's all the weeks, and if I'm supposed to go all the weeks, just imagine 16 cedis times 5, Even a month is more than 300 cedis. This one I was even contemplating whether I should mix some of the lectures because I can't go through all the week.
And that's Mamiesi Thompson's report for our Living Standard series. We bring you that every Tuesday and Thursday here on the Midday News and all our platforms. Let me take you now to Cape Coast because the High Court there, presided over by Justice Kwesi Boakye, singled out a bank staff in a robbery case of 600,000 Ghana cedis and gave him a hefty sentence of 25 years. Michael Fosu Elias Beza, who was a cleaner working at the Ghana Commercial Bank branch at Isikuma in the Central Region, was among 4 persons who conspired to rob a bank customer of 600,000 Ghana cedis. In sentencing the 4, Justice Kwesi Boakye indicated that even though Michael's share of the booty was the least, which is 10,000 Ghana cedis, he decided to single him out for severe punishment. Richard Kojo joins us on the line with details. Richard, give us more details why Justice Kwesi Boakye gave him this hefty sentence of 25 years.
That he's using this one as a deterrent to bank staff who conspire with other people to rob the banks or to even give information to people that come to the bank to withdraw money. And so that is why, even though Mr. Michael, the one who is also known as the Beza, the bank staff, received just a smaller amount of the money, of the 600,000, he received only 10,000. He singled him out. And then the rest, he gave them 20 years each, but for the bank staff, he gave him 25 years to serve as a deterrent. So he says that people go to the bank to withdraw money. But if there are some people within the banking sector who give information in order for such customers to be robbed, then it is very unfortunate.
Thank you very much. That's Central Region correspondent Richard Kojo. The Ahanta language spoken in the Western region is one of the languages identified as one at risk of extinction, as many are unable to write or speak it. Through songs, a group is trying to keep the language in the minds of the people and the lips of the people within the area. In the first of our series of stories celebrating Ghana Month, John Uses Justice Bedu traveled to Takoradi to meet the people behind the square.
The Apua Youth Choir, founded by young men and women in this community just on the outskirts of Takoradi.
Growing up in the locality, seeing my people or the grown-ups speaking Ahanta, it was great. Our children are speaking English more now than it was yesterday.
My name is Felix Kofiali.
Felix and his friends write new songs themselves and also translate songs from other languages into Ahanta for the choristers to learn.
People don't really know that Takoradi is Ahanta. We intend not to use the deepest version of Ahanta.
We were not taught Ahanta when we were kids. So, especially when you get the language, you want to turn them up into the language itself. It's quite difficult.
Though we are in Ahanta, but we don't learn the Ahanta. We learn Fancy. So I don't know even the alphabet of the. I didn't know then. But when I came to AYC, they've been teaching us because of the song.
And that's it for our Ghana Man series. We'll bring you more throughout the week. Now, Parliament, make Parliament work. That's a charge from the members of the Council of State to the Speaker of the House, Alban Badmin. The council, led by its chairman, Nana Otuo-Serebour, have begun a series of engagement with the caucuses in Parliament to resolve the acrimonious relationship between the two divide of the House. Today, the council held a crunch meeting with the Speaker, indicating that their intervention is to promote parliamentary democracy. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Badmin, on his part, observed that he expected to meet challenges due to the circumstances surrounding his election.
It's not easy when you come to Parliament. It's a different school altogether. There's a learning curve. There's a culture to be built. It's not easy, so it takes time. So I knew with this large transition, they need time to learn. So the last year, I kept on talking about them learning and that kind of thing. But with the pressure on members, it's not easy for them to focus. Either to read the literature, including Hansard, either to listen to mentors. It's not easy.
That's the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Badman. Let's speak to parliamentary correspondent Kwesi Parker-Wilson for more on this. Kwesi, we've heard from the Speaker of Parliament. What has the Chairman of the Council of State, Nanoto Serebo, been saying?
Well, according to him, the Council is not too enthused about the recent development in the House, especially the brawl that we saw last year over the approval or otherwise the rejection of the e-levy. This is the reason they have taken a step to engage the members of the House, that is the majority caucus and the minority caucus, to have a better appreciation of their challenges and then resolve it. So we are told that last week they held a meeting with the two caucuses, and today they're having a meeting with the Speaker. So to speak to you, the meeting is currently ongoing, where the Speaker is also outlining his challenges to the Council of State. Now, when they are done, they will now put together a resolution on how the members of this House, that is the majority and the minority, can work in harmony.
That's parliamentary correspondent Kwesi Parker-Wilson. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Ernest. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll bring you sports and more. Stay with us.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Juja, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aflao. In the Eastern region, we're on K Poly Radio in Koforidia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sunmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrots FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time now for sports. Muftau Nabila Abdullah is here with the latest. Hello, Muftau.
Chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kojo Fianu, has defended the decision of his outfit to announce House of Oak and Asante Kotoko as competitors for this year's President Cup. According to him, they are the obvious choice to honor the president of the land, as he considers them the best two teams that will ensure that the president of the land is properly honored. And Kojo Fianu, he's been speaking on Joy Sports Link, and he believes that playing Kotoko and House of Oak will also give an opportunity for the president to invest in football. That is indirectly call on the government of the country to invest in football in Ghana.
Thank you very much, Mustafa, for bringing us the latest in the world of sports. Now, government is this afternoon emphasizing on a free evacuation of all Ghanaian nationals in Ukraine as the first batch of students touched down in Accra. The students, numbering 17, were part of a large Ghanaian community caught up in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, a Ministry of Foreign Affairs representative helping with the evacuation, Dr. Albert Kitcher, says many of the students who were left stranded in Ukraine continue to arrive at the borders of neighboring Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania, as well as Poland.
These are mostly students. The non-students, I know some who have gone on their own. In my list, I have about 45 people as of early this morning that have crossed over. There are about 4 or 5 different steps that you take before you get to the border and then get on the plane. These people are leaving from Ukraine, let's say from the city of Lviv, right? So they are in the territory of Ukraine. As they are leaving, the person leading the bus is constantly in touch with me and with, some of the student leaders, and we're coordinating as and when they are on the road. As they are going, we're giving also information to the Ghana missions.
Now, Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Kweku Amprechum Sapon, who was at the arrival terminal to receive the evacuated students, said some 500 more Ghanaians have moved to safety and will be flown home later this week.
And the government is determined to continue to make sure that your colleagues who are still in transit to be evacuated will eventually be evacuated. Information coming in indicates that Ghana is the first African country to have been able to evacuate some of their compatriots and some of theirs. We understand there are about 500 of our compatriots who've managed to cross from Ukraine to the other neighboring countries. The government has laid plans to evacuate every student or every Ghanaian who is prepared and ready to come home.
And that's the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Kweku Amprechum there. Let's go to the Accra International Conference Center, where the Foreign Affairs Minister herself, Shirley Ayokobotre, is currently meeting parents of students caught up in Ukraine. My colleague Blessed Suga is there for us and he joins us live. Blessed, what have the parents been saying?
Well, Ernest, that engagement is about wrapping up, but the concern of the parents is obviously about the safety of their children. Many of them have been requesting of the Foreign Affairs Ministry to try and put in place not just an evacuation plan, but also a plan that would ensure that when these persons return, most of them who are students, when they come back, there should be an arrangement for them to continue with their academic activities here in Ghana.
There's also the issue about who bears the cost for this evacuation. Blessed, if you can hear me, there's a conversation about who bears the cost for this evacuation. What has the minister said about this?
I was indicating the minister has said that the first priority of government is to bring them to safety, and that the government of Ghana will bear the cost for only citizens and not even persons who are related to or married to foreign nationals. Because
taking the responsibility, we are not saying in any shape or form that because they are there on their own, we will leave them. Even when we receive them, we will leave them for parents who buy tickets for them. No. And I know that many of you have sent your children there privately. Only 27 are government sponsored students. But government is saying that no, as quickly as possible, we need to bring them back. It doesn't matter that they are there on their own. We know that many of the parents here can afford it to bring them back. But we said no, you just keep your money. God willing, when things die down, this is an unexpected expense. When things die down, you'll be able to send your children back. And that's exactly what a responsible government state is doing, and we are doing that.
Shirley Ayokobotre is Foreign Affairs Minister. Headmaster of the Tamale Senior High School, Reverend Edward Aziga, says his school is yet to receive some of the anticipated food supplies for the current academic year. According to him, government was supposed to provide food for the entire academic year, but just a portion of that has been received. Now, he spoke after businessman Ibrahim Mohammed, I beg your pardon, who also happens to be a former student, made a donation in response to the situation. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Government has set a target to plant 20 million trees this year as part of the Green Ghana Day initiative. The trees, according to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, will be planted on degraded lands, homes and school parks and other identified areas. It is estimated that Ghana has lost 8 million of her forest cover with no clear-cut plan to replenish the desert forest. The initiative started last year, which aims to plant trees annually to cover the 400,000 hectares of land. Time now for Showbiz.
Trigmatic says it is such a great idea that Showbiz A to Z is taking the celebration to Kumasi this Saturday the 5th. Trig believes this will give people a high sense of patriotism and that the idea to decentralize it is commendable. Meanwhile, MOG Music's New Wine concert comes off on March 20, and he is bringing Grammy Award winner Donnie McClurkin to minister at the much-anticipated event. Miss V put up an exciting performance on Grammy's Press Play at Home, dishing out an elegant rendition of her 2021 song Coming Home featuring Tiwa Savage. Finally, it's 4 days to the big celebration. Saturday, the 5th of March, Showbiz A to Z comes to you live from Kumasi to mark Ghana Month on Joy.
And that's Kofi Hayford with Showbiz here on the Midday News. Thanks so much for your company. My name is Ernest. Manu. You'll find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is Living Word with Dr. Mensa Otabil. Good afternoon.
Business no a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year. A bit me kasa saying
Nana, goods not land you. You did the port right.
A bit me to say.
Here are your items. Thank you for coming.
A bit me kasa saying
Yes, 2 for 10 cedi. Me no 10 cedi. 2 for 10 cedi.
What you know a bit me according and found